Some say that who you know can bring more opportunities and open up more rooms than what you know, and they're not wrong. But in order to make meaningful connections, being emotionally aware can make a huge difference in increasing your charisma and building your social intelligence so that you can connect, influence, and move through social settings effectively and with ease. Welcome back to the It Girl Playbook. In today's episode, we will be learning how to be more emotionally intelligent. For starters, before learning about anything, it's important to understand what it is that we're learning first. So, what does emotional intelligence even mean? It's not about being emotional, it's about knowing how to handle emotions, yours and others. And so, it includes both personal competence as well as social competence. If we break it down, there are three main components. The first being self awareness, knowing what you feel and why you feel that way. This not only builds your confidence in yourself, but it builds the foundation for the second component because you cannot control what you do not know. That said, the second component is self-regulation, being able to manage those emotions calmly so that you remain in control of your emotions rather than let your emotions control you. This holds value because it also builds your ability to harness your emotions and apply them in areas of your life in ways that can benefit you. The third component is social awareness, the understanding and the ability to manage emotions, which includes regulating your own and navigating others. This is how you can manage the impressions you make in your connections and actually influence the depth and quality of your relationships. And so it's important to note that just because someone may be very emotional, it doesn't automatically make them an emotionally intelligent person. This is why some people who are insecure become bullies, or people who get very angry end up punching walls rather than addressing the core issue. They either aren't even aware or they lack the ability to regulate it, let alone manage it in a social environment. Let's individually explore how we can develop each of these three skills, starting with self-awareness, knowing yourself first. Confidence begins with the mastery of self and the self-understanding that comes with it. The more you know yourself, your patterns, your emotions, and your triggers, the more grounded and attentioned you become in every aspect of your life. It is the foundation of emotional intelligence because it teaches you why you feel what you feel, which holds a lot of value because you cannot control what you do not know. So, how do we actually build self-awareness? Here are some things that you can do. The first being shadow work. Shadow work helps you dive into the parts of yourself that you usually hide or try to avoid, the insecurities, the fears, and past experiences that may not be pleasant to deal with, but still quietly shape how you think and how you behave. The process requires you to respond to pretty deep journal prompts that uncover why you do what you do so that you can start healing or at least acknowledging those parts instead of being in the dark and repeating the same emotional cycles. You can cater this to areas that you want to focus on specifically, whether it's your childhood, your friendships, romantic relationships, or people-pleasing tendencies, etc. The next is journaling. This is something I swear by and is the one thing that has dramatically changed my life. It's more flexible than shadow work, but can still be just as valuable. It allows you to pour your thoughts on paper, whatever it is and whenever you need, to help you see your thoughts and emotions outside of your head. When you write things down, patterns can become more clear. What triggers you, what excites you, what drains you. It's simple but powerful because the moment that you can name what you're feeling, you can control it because you cannot control what you do not even know. The next is therapy. If you're ready for deeper self-work, therapy can be life-changing because having a professional help you understand your thoughts and emotions can give you that clarity that you need, but you may not reach on your own. It's not about quote-unquote fixing yourself, it's about learning about yourself through a new lens and a more objective perspective. The next component of emotional intelligence is building your self-regulating skills, which builds your ability to control your emotions, not suppress it. Emotions are not bad. How you feel about someone, about certain situations are all valid, but just because you are upset, it does not mean you have to react by cursing someone out and punching a wall. Just because you are excited, it doesn't mean you have to make a scene to the point that it makes everyone else uncomfortable. This is self-regulating, not suppressing suppressing or dismissing or discounting your emotions, but being able to manage them rather than let it control you. Here are some tips on building self-regulating skills. The first being name it to tame it. Labeling what you feel, even if it's just a quick mental note in your head, this helps your brain calm down a bit because it now feels acknowledged and it gives you a sense of control as you now understand what you're feeling instead of being in the dark. On top of this, when you say things like, I feel hurt or I feel disappointed, it creates distance between you and the emotion, which reminds your brain that you're in control, not your feelings. The second tip is to respond rather than react. It's okay to pause before you speak, before you text back, or before you act, especially when emotions are high. Even a few deep breaths can give you the space to choose your next move intentionally. You can also choose to walk away or simply say, let me think about that and get back to you. I'm a very emotional person, and so this is the route that I choose to take, where I step back when things get heated, and after some time passes, I'm usually okay. And if I'm still upset, then I know that the problem is something worth addressing. But simply walking away has saved me so many potential confrontations where I would have said something or done something that I know I would have regretted. You're not suppressing your emotions, it's just giving yourself that small pause or space for your logical mind to step in so you can respond intentionally rather than react emotionally and prematurely. And the last tip is to create emotional outlets. What you don't address will only come out uglier ways later. Find a hobby that helps you de-stress, friends to share news when you feel excited, journaling when you feel overwhelmed or upset. Emotional regulation, it means being in control of your emotions, but being in control doesn't mean bottling things up. It's about expressing them with awareness and with control. The last component of emotional intelligence is building your social awareness. Once you've learned to understand yourself and to regulate your emotions, the next component requires you to put it into practice in navigating the emotional connections around you. Being socially aware allows you to walk into any room and in any situations and instantly sense the vibe, who's open, who's guarded, and how to move effectively and with ease. It's not manipulation, it's simply observation. Here's how to develop it. The first tip is to observe before reacting. It's okay to take a pause before responding, especially if it allows you to articulate your thoughts and help you build a better response. Notice the vibe, the body language, or the energy in the room before deciding how to show up and how to respond. If two people are in a heated argument and everyone is angry, maybe it's not the best idea to make a joke and provoke them more. Or maybe you feel the tension is calming down and a joke or a funny story can help break the tension. Observe first and then respond. The next tip is to not take things personally. If someone is being cold to you, it might just be that they're having a bad day and therefore is not a reflection of you. Now, does this mean to just stand there and let people take their anger out on you because they're having a bad day? No. If they are yelling at you, does this make their behavior okay? No, of course not. And of course, it doesn't feel nice. Not taking things personally just means to emotionally detach from your ego. It's recognizing that other people's moods and reactions are about them and not you. When you can see it in that way and emotionally detach, it can help you respond more thoughtfully rather than react defensively. And the last tip is to communicate calmly, not competitively. You don't have to win every conversation. Some discussions aren't about proving a point, winning an argument, they're just about connecting or understanding. Learn to listen fully before responding, redirect the conversation if needed, or simply say less if the situation calls for it. Calm communication, it can also show emotional maturity and self-control because it helps you be seen as grounded, making others feel safe around you, which allows your confidence to shine without raising your voice or forcing your opinions. At the end of the day, emotional intelligence isn't about being emotional or not being emotional. It's about knowing how to handle them. It's what separates someone who's easily thrown thrown off by life from someone who can move through it with self-trust. This is something that I'm working on too to help me with my confidence in social settings. It's not easy, but it is definitely possible to become more emotionally intelligent, even if, like me, you're more introverted and grew up quite shy and awkward. This episode is as much as for myself as it is for you, and so I hope that you found this helpful in your journey of becoming more emotionally intelligent. That's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out the It Girl newsletter for episode recaps, to join in on the conversation, and to help decide on what to explore next. I hope to see you in our next episode, and in the meantime, as always, stay hot. Bye!